Hi there. Let's talk about the Git Log using SourceTree, of course. Okay, I've created this dummy repository called tutorial, and let's check the graph. Created some branches, did some stuff. Nothing interesting here really, just some files. Oops. Let's look at those files really quick. So there's just some 3 text files. Whoops, whatever happened there. Just some 3 text files, one file with some more content. Okay, let's look at the history again. At first, you can see in the initial commit we only had file 1 and file 2. On the feature X branch, I've basically added file 3. No, wait. I've added file 3 on feature Y. Gotta read the graph correctly. And then it was merged to master, and then master was merged to feature X, so that's why it says file 3 added here, because this is a merge commit, this is a merge commit, and this is the original commit that added the file. So what I've also done on feature X is add some new stuff to file 1 and more libsum to file 2. This is a nice preview of the changes here. It only gives you the context, some small context around it. You can see here the file numbers, line numbers. It starts from 9 here with the green stuff, with the green marks, the lines marked in green here, and it goes up to 6. To see all of them, you can use this this option here to increase the lines of context. So if I change it to 100, I will see the entire file because there are only 26 lines in total. It's always a good idea to keep this to a minimum though. So what you can do now is there are several options. First of all, this down here is, or the graph here is basically the log itself already. So this is basically what you're looking at all the time. And clicking on one of these lines, each line is a commit. You can see the message and the date where it is from, and the author, and the parent commits, which you can jump to. Yeah. And more interesting though, usually, are the files themselves, or what this the selected commit actually changed. So I see there were 2 lines added. Let's say at some point after some features were merged to master, you realize that, well, the contents of file 1 are not that great. I want to reverse this, or revert this. Let's do that here. You can say, okay, open the selected version. So right-clicking on the files here individually gives you some nice options, like open selected version, shows you the merged version. But keep in mind, this is just a temporary file. It creates this file somewhere locally, or recreates that file, because Git itself does not store the file like that. It only creates deltas between the files for source files, for text files. So it recreates the entire file and puts them somewhere temporarily and shows you that. So let's close that up again, and what we can do now is to find out where the actual change was happening, right-click and say log selected. It will show you the entire log of that file. So there was the first, the initial commit where this file was created. It's always on the bottom, and then there is content for file 1. This is, by the way, why it's important to make the first line of your commit messages always descriptive, so you can find it more easily here. You see the space is limited, and always going through a wall of text just for the description is kind of tedious. So it's a good idea to keep this at least the first line short, and then more verbose information in the consequent lines there in your commit messages. So let's check this out. We see this is the stuff we want reverted, or let's say we want to revert it. We can just say, okay, we want the version of the file before that, and say reset to commit. And then it asks us to confirm this. You say yes, close this up, and then you see uncommitted changes. Let's go to working copy, and there you can see we've deleted. For Git, it looks like we've deleted these additional lines, which is fine. We can just tell it to, hey, we have reverted file 1 to its original content. So there we have it. And when I look at file 1 now, there's the content we wanted. Okay, what else can we see here? This is basically the most important stuff. Let's see if we can do something else. What else is there to show? You can, oh yeah, this is nice, blame selected. Blame is this technique, let's call it technique, that other version control systems also use, like SVN. It shows you the contents of the file and places the author on each line that last changed this line. It's not very interesting in our case right now, but maybe let's just switch over quickly to the Schacht repository, and let's look at the config default. Let's look at the git ignore file here. It's a small text file, so let's log selected. Let's see, it has gone through 3 revisions, and 2 were from Marvin and 1 from me. If I close this up again and say blame selected, I will see most of the lines were added by Marvin. It's no surprise, he added the first version of the file. And let's find me here. There I am. I've added that .org files are not tracked. .org files are, by the way, what many diff tools and also SourceTree create as a backup of the files you added. So we don't want them to be checked in because, well, Git is backing up our files. This is just a local copy, local backup system. So yeah, this is kind of nice. So you can always see who edited the file, the lines last. If you're worried about a change or have no idea what a comment means, like these 3, for example, I can just go blame, use the blame tool and see that it was Marvin, and then yeah, you view in full log will take you there, and there you could use the email address, bump up your Thunderbird or Gmail, whatever, and write them an email. Okay, I guess that's it for now.